Good evening, Dave. Good evening, Edna. This has been planned months ago. However, due to time constraints and other things that came up, I was unable to get to it. So now that I am almost back to myself, I said, let's get to it. This is going to be, some people get upset, and it's not intended for anyone to get upset. It's a conversation, a review of Jim Jones and the People's Temple, the tragedy that occurred in Guyana, and lastly, and this is where some people may get upset, but I believe it's a conversation that should be had, and the link will be there if anyone would like to offer anything. Just be respectful, and if you do want to speak on whatever's on your mind in reference to this subject, let me know in the comment section, and I will do my best to accommodate you. So, without further delay, this is Jim Jones, the People's Temple, Guyana, and social media cult. First, an introduction to Jim Jones for those who may not have heard of him. I remember this as a child, watching it on TV with my mom. James Warren Jones was an American cult leader. Now, what is a cult? Let's look at that really quickly. And this will be really quickly. A cult, according to Wikipedia, is a group which is typically led by a charismatic and self-appointed leader who tightly controls. That's the operative word here, at least from my optics. Tightly controls its members, requiring an unwavering devotion to a set of beliefs and practices. Go down a little further. To good old Merriam-Webster. It says, learn the origin, synonyms, examples, and history of the word cult, which can, again, pay attention to the words, mean a religion, a devotion, and this is what I'm going to hone in on, especially when I correlate it with social media. A devotion, and I'll just preface this right here and right now. Many of you, no disrespect, but many of you have a unwavering devotion to certain men and certain women who honestly are people just as you and I. Sometimes, from what I've seen and observed, some of you exalt them to being kings and queens without merit, in my opinion, or a system of beliefs. Now that we have that formality out the way, let us continue. He's also known as a mass unaliver, And I'll repeat that if you did not hear me. A mass unaliver who led the People's Temple between the years of 1955 and 1978. Jones termed revolutionary suicide. Jones and the members of his inner circle planned and orchestrated a mass unaliving suicide in the remote jungle in Jonestown, Guyana. 1978, November the 18th, 1978. Jones and the events that occurred, these horrible events that occurred in Jonestown, had and still have a defining influence on society's perception of cults. I'm going to stop right there for a moment because as it relates to this app, meaning YouTube, there have been many people that have referred to certain spaces as being cults and certain people as being cult leaders. And I'll just say this. Those who know, know. I am not and will not refer to anyone as being a member of a cult or a cult leader. I will, however, point out similarities. And again, if any of you have any comments or like to come up and offer your thoughts, you are welcome to do so. Now, as context is concerned, Jones developed an affinity for Pentecostalism and a desire to preach. He was ordained as a Christian minister in the Independent Assemblies of God, attracting his first group while participating in the Pentecostal Latter Rain movement and the Healing Revival during the 1950s. Jones's initial popularity arose from his joint campaign appearances with movements with prominent leaders, William Branham and Joseph Matson Bowes, and their endorsement of his ministry. Jones founded the organization that would become, as you can see in the title, the People's Temple in Indianapolis in the year of 1955. Hey there, Graham, how are you? Long time, but good to see you. And I'll drop the link if there's anything you would like to add. I know you are very outspoken, which is a good thing. And you too may have heard or been around in certain spaces where people may look at others or look at people as cult leaders or members of cults. I am doing well, Graham. Thank you so much for asking, and I hope you are doing well. 1955, there was, and I had a panel with someone. Well, I actually joined a panel with someone, and something significant happened in 1955 to a young boy who was accused of whistling, I believe, at a woman. Does anybody know the name of that little boy? And I want to say August of 1955. I'm not sure about the month, but I know the year. I'm right. Thank you, Trending. How are you? 1955, which really, for all intents and purposes, was not that long ago, was when Emmett Till, teenager, an African-American teenager, was abducted and lynched in Mississippi, again, 1955, after being accused of offending a woman, Carolyn Bryant, in her family's grocery store. So 1955, keep that year in mind. Years and timelines mean a lot, especially as it relates to this particular subject. So, the People's Temple was led by Jim Jones from 1955 to 1978. 1978. As I mentioned earlier, the organization that came to be People's Temple in Indianapolis began in 1955. Jones, according to reports, began to be influenced by Father Divine and the Peace Mission movement. Jones distinguished himself through civil rights activism. That's where 1955 and Emmett Till comes into play, as far as the years are concerned, because we were on the cusp of civil rights activism. So just keep that in mind when we're looking at timelines and dates. And the temple as a fully integrated, again, that's an important word here, a fully integrated. Keep in mind, this was in 1955. Fully integrated congregation. In 1964, Jim Jones was ordained a minister by the disciples of Christ. His attraction to the disciples was largely due to the autonomy and tolerance they granted to differing views within their denomination. In 1965, Jones moved the temple to California. So those that may be in California, you may already know this. The group established its headquarters in San Francisco, where, according to reports, he became heavily involved in political and charitable activity throughout the 1970s. Jones developed, I know, Graham, I actually did a short live on it and played the short video. There are a lot of people that, from what I've been scrolling through and looking at, and I'll just say this real quickly before I get off my train of thought, some people think it could have been a play. I just put up my quick live and I haven't gone back to see if indeed those were actually projectiles, or to say from a weapon or something else. I'm not really sure. I'll go check on that later. But the group established its headquarters in San Francisco, where he became heavily involved in political and charitable activity through the 1970s. He developed connections with prominent California politicians and was appointed as chairman of the San Francisco Housing Authority Commission in 1975. No, they should not have, Graham, but unfortunately, and this is what I want to get into later, which again, some people may get upset, but there are people on this app, and I know you know this, that will listen to anything that someone says with no proof, no receipts as they call them, but just because they're enamored by their presence, they listen to it. And to me, that's dangerous. Again, my opinion. But Graham, you're outspoken. But I know you know this, and I know you've seen it. Even though you're in other spaces, I know, and I'm not saying any names, you know that beyond a shadow of a doubt. Beginning in the late 1960s, reports of abuse began to surface as Jones became increasingly vocal in his rejection, and this is important, in his rejection of traditional Christianity. Graham, don't get me off my square right now. I'm not even going to look at you, because every time I do, you just remind me of some things that you've said that just had me in stitches. But this is important. Let me go ahead and put that up there. Fools. I really don't want to say that, but something, and you know what I'm talking about. Every time I think about when you talked about that judge, I think about it now, and I'm like, that crazy Graham, cannot believe he said that. But yes, fools, being led by a fool. Graham, you have such a way of putting things. But yeah, absolutely. And Trending Jade is looking like, what's going on here? It's okay, Trending. And Graham is laughing. So, Jim Jones became increasingly vocal in his rejection of traditional Christianity and began to promote a form of anti-capitalism, which he called the apostolic socialism, and making claims of his own divinity. And see, this is where, in my opinion, just my opinion, where people they're catapulted think that's a good word to use, to a high place, the pinnacle, if you will. And people who follow them have this adornment for them. And sometimes, and not with everyone, so I want to make that clear, not everyone, but sometimes that can go to a person's head where they may feel as though they're unstoppable. Everything that they say is right, and if you question them, you may be disrespected in many ways. And I've seen that here on social media, especially YouTube. Now, following a period of negative media publicity and reports of abuse at the People's Temple, Jones ordered, that's another important word here, Jones ordered the construction of the Jonestown commune in Guyana in the year of 1974, and convinced or compelled many of his followers to live there with him. Jones claimed that he was constructing a socialist paradise. Again, listen to the words. Thank you, twin. I know you're still working, but thank you so much for tuning in. A socialist paradise. And for many, paradise, the imagery of paradise is beautiful to many people. So many, I'm sure, jumped at the chance to experience paradise. And again, my opinions. By 1978, now 1978, really, if you look at it, was not that long ago. So keep that year in mind and compare it to what you may see around you and in front of you, especially on social media. 1978 reports surfaced as it related to human rights abuse and accusations. People being held in Jonestown against their will. United States Representative Leo Ryan led a delegation to the commune in November of that year to investigate those accusations. While boarding a return flight with some former temple members who wished to leave, Leo Ryan and 4 others lost their lives. Jones then ordered a mass unalived suicide mission that claimed the lives of 909 commune members. 304 of them were children. almost all perished by drinking flavor aid laced with cyanide. So that's just some context behind Jim Jones, the leader of the People's Temple. And when you hear Guyana, a lot of people remember that tragedy. Earlier, we looked at what the word cult meant. I'm going to present that really quick, and then we'll go over the documentary, just bits and pieces of it. A cult, and this is courtesy of Wikipedia, is a group which is typically led by a charismatic, that's the perfect word for the purposes of this broadcast, a charismatic and self-appointed leader who tightly controls its members, requiring unwavering devotion to a set of beliefs and practices. Again, as always, I implore you to always conduct your own thorough, independent, meticulous research on any videos you may come across. So without further delay, I am going to present portions of the Jim Jones documentary. And if anyone, as I mentioned, has anything they would like to add, please let me know in the comments and I will drop the link. Thank you to those that have come by and those who may catch the replay. And this is courtesy of I Love Docs on YouTube. Hopefully the audio will be clear and the video will be clear for those listening wherever you may be. This is an hour and 44 minutes. Of course, I am not going to go that far in. Okay, I want to get to this part right here. His son speaks a lot. Okay.
And
Integrated.
Jones and his People's Temple seem to have it. The only way it's going to get better is through us and what we can do in the world. And that was everything from gradual social change to violent revolution to cleaning up after nuclear fallout. Jim Jones claimed special powers to heal the sick and dying.
Thanks, Trending. Now, as you can see, And this is where he started to enter dark areas.
As his popularity grew, Jim Jones preached less about the Bible and more about social activism.
That is very poignant. As his popularity grew. Now, I'm just going to ask this question, and I'm going to leave it right there where it is. How many people have you seen or listened to on social media, or perhaps you've seen on TV, influencers? After they attain a certain level of popularity, what they once spoke of slowly diminishes or is not at the same level. Keep that in mind.
He called himself a prophet, a savior who would guide, protect.
I, I, I. Be mindful of people who continuously speak I. In my opinion.
That I have, the all-encompassing mercy that I am. I want you to be what I am and something greater.
Jim Jones's devoted followers referred to him as Father.
Jim Jones, his devoted followers, referred to him as Father. There are people on social media, as I've said earlier, that refer to others as kings or queens. In my opinion, with absolutely no merit. Now, maybe sometimes people refer to one another as a term of endearment, but for me, a king and a queen, that's royalty. That's something regal. To me, it should be earned. That's a label that should not just be arbitrarily placed on anyone. Again, it's just my opinion. Let us continue.
Many signed over their paychecks, possessions, even their homes.
Many signed over their possessions, paychecks, and their homes. Donations. Super chats. Cash apps. Venmo. PayPal. What else is out there? Apple Pay. You name it, people do it. And again, there's absolutely nothing wrong with supporting people. You're entertained. You pay for entertainment, just as you would if you go to a venue. But when you're supporting, and I want to make sure that I say this where it will not hurt anyone's feelings or sound offensive, but when you're literally, and there are some people that have, when you give your very last, or you take away from a household bill and give it to someone that you've exalted, that's where this could be considered troublesome. But let us continue.
But at the height of his power, a darker side of Jim Jones emerged.
Another poignant statement. At the height of his power, a darker side emerged. Is there anyone you know on social media that seems to have a lot of power, but also a dark side. And again, these are just questions.
Former temple members accused Jones of physical and sexual abuse, mind control, and forced druggings. In 1970,
Mind control, SA. Again, there are a lot of people, in my opinion, under the spell of many Jim Joneses, in my opinion. Let's continue.
1977, as media interest grew, Jim Jones and hundreds of his supporters left San Francisco, California. They set out for Guyana, determined to build a new community in the South American country.
Jonestown, after the name of their leader. Look at the facial expression. To me, and again, it's my opinion, he appears to be extremely arrogant and pompous, but many in power. Those are their traits. Again, these are just my opinions. But as you can see, that was just bits and pieces of the documentary. You're welcome to go back and review it in its entirety. It's on YouTube under I Love movie docs, and I'll put it in the description. But the point is, there are many people, I would like to say hundreds, I don't think that's an embellishment, that are totally enamored by some. And the danger in that is you really, truly don't know people and their motives. And I've said this, and I'll continue to believe that the adversary will never come to you disheveled and dressed poorly. They come to you in their best. That's how they draw people in. And then their words, some are extremely witty, some with a high level of intellect, but can lead you down a path of destruction, as documented with Jim Jones. Again, keep in mind this fully integrated population believed a man, a human, same as them, enough so that they gave their lives. And unfortunately for many, once they found out the truth, it was too late. There was no escape. And again, over 900 perished by drinking a flavored concoction that is said to have been laced with cyanide. So when you hear the term, and a lot of people get offended when they hear, don't drink the Kool-Aid, that's what they're referring to. Many people may not realize that, but that's what they're referring to. So again, we don't know what could trigger others, so be mindful. Be mindful of some of the things that we say and what it could be attached to. I'm going to drop this. If anyone has anything they would like to offer, if not, I will close it out. But I hope for those of you that never heard of Jim Jones and the Guyana tragedy, which was painstakingly tragic, now you know. And hopefully you have gleaned an insight on the dangers of cults. Cults, in my opinion, are real. Cult leaders, in my opinion, are real. There are some that I have heard that refer to some churches and religious organizations, as you can see in the, hey there, Joy, how are you? Is it morning there? Welcome, Joy, from the Philippines. Oh, she's saying good evening. Oh, good evening to you. How are you? But in the definition, religious aspect, you have a pastor or a priest or a deacon or a bishop, and they all, for the most part, have a charismatic way of delivering their messages. Their style of dress is impeccable. Their knowledge, at least what's perceived as great knowledge, will draw many people in, especially those, excuse me, who may not be as strong, who may be going through something and they're seeking guidance. But in seeking of guidance, they get hypnotized, so to speak. They no longer have control over their own minds. They basically forfeited their power and thoughts to whom they look up to. You said, turn up my mic in a few. Graham, are you up to something? If you're up to something crazy, because I know you. I don't know what you're up to, Graham. I don't want you to get me in trouble. I know you're up to something. Let me see if I can do it. I don't know if I can, Graham. Hold on. Oh, gosh. Hold on, Graham. Let me see. Is that better? I can only speak so loud unless I'm angry. And I don't think you want me angry. Is that better? Hopefully it is. I don't see Graham's response. But as I was saying, you see that in a lot of churches, unfortunately. And because of what people are going through, their mindsets, they fall under the spell of who they listen to. Graham, I'm going to let you know right now. Don't you come up here with no BS. What's
Hey,
up?
what's going on, dude?
Hey, Graham, how are you?
I can't complain. Now, I was just saying, if you can turn your mic up some, because you know you're soft spoken, so you should have your mic as loud as it can be since you speak softly. That's all.
I
Because
had it.
I
Let me
got
see
my
if I
air
can.
conditioner on. My air conditioner's a little loud.
Oh, I'm sorry. But
I
then
can
I
hear
had
you, like you just said. Oh, I'm sorry. I can hear you, but if you could turn your mic up a little bit, it'll be better for everybody. Because you don't have to speak louder if you can make your mic louder.
I thought I had it up to the highest level.
Hmm.
No,
Let me turn this AC on for a minute.
hold on for a second.
All right, so what's going on?
Nothing. I'm just going over this topic about Jim Jones, and I know you've heard about it, and cults or so-called cults on social media, and your thoughts.
Man, anybody joining the cult has issues. You know, it probably starts from when they was a child. You know, most people who follow just anybody, that they're usually people who didn't really have friends growing up. You know, was like the considered the oddball in all arenas, and the ones that got picked on and bullied, teased. You know, so these are the type of people that guys like the Jim Jones type, because there's plenty of them. Even on social media now, I consider most of these guys to be potential Jim Jones type of individuals. They got these big platforms. They talk a bunch of nonsense on a daily basis, and thousands of people pull up for it and believe anything they say out of their mouth. Um, one, there's one situation recently. A guy said a battle rapper was dead. Excuse me, I know was deceased. I can say deceased on him. Was deceased, and come to find out, a few hours later, the battle rapper got on live. Listen, I'm still in the land of the living. I don't know why they said that, but this guy swore up and down. This big YouTuber swore up and down his audience. Oh, this guy's father told me that. He called me and told me that. Come to find out, he was talking about another son. One of his, the guy was talking about one of his other sons, and the YouTuber got it twisted, but never retracted his statement, stood on his lie, even though it was proven it was a lie. And guess what his supporters did?
What?
Oh, we still rock with you. You know, the father probably did give you the wrong, oh, the father gave him the wrong information about which one of his kids was out of. No, he got it twisted. If he didn't make it up himself, but you know that's what these people do. They're a bunch of like sheep-minded people. They just roll with whoever they think the shepherd is.
And see, that's what I was mentioning earlier, that and I don't want to offend anyone whatsoever, but this is some of the behavior that I've observed. I mean, I've seen and heard people actually state things, and they have absolutely no proof, no reference point, but the followers they eat it up. And I don't understand it. And as I mentioned, I believe that's dangerous. Because if you paid attention to that documentary, that's scary. It didn't happen that long ago, but he was able, one single man was able to lead that integrated group outside of their home and start over. And look how he betrayed them in the end. I think you're on mute, Graham. Graham was on mute and then he left. But yes, there are many that fall, in my opinion, in that category. Okay, I believe Graham is back. It says your device isn't connected. Graham? Okay.
Oh,
There you go.
yeah, I was sharing the stream to my audience.
Oh, okay. No worries. But yeah, I see that often here, as you mentioned, on social media where people with large followings, some may not be that large, but they believe everything. I mean, everything. There's no questions, nothing. And I don't quite understand that.
Right. I mean, like I said, it starts from childhood. You spell your eyes with a S on the end or a Z?
Why?
Because I have to put a title on it going to my
No, that's what
channel.
I was saying. Why? You're trying to spell what?
The eyes. I know how to spell doe, the eyes. Is it with an S or a Z on the end? An
Oh,
S,
I'm
right?
sorry. It's S.
Okay, yeah, DoeEyesTV. Okay. Yeah, but like I said, it starts from childhood most of the time. You know, now I'm a guy. I was blessed to have my father in my life till present day. I even have my grandfather. My grandfather's 83 years old. His mind is still intact. You think he was talking to a 50-year-old with his head on his shoulder. So I'm blessed like that. I still got my mom, thank God. All my family, really, besides the elders, lost some grandparents. But like I said, my grandfather's still there. So I'm not one of those guys that felt like I need to go join a gang or be a follower all of a sudden because I had strong men and intelligent and strong women in my life, my whole life, guiding me. You understand, and giving me advice that I was willing to accept.
Well, do
A
you
lot of
think
people
that?
don't have that. Yeah,
That's what I was about to ask you. In your opinion, do you think that plays a large role in some people being easily influenced? I think that's the best way of putting it. Easily influenced by others of influence.
definitely. People who don't have anyone to give them any positive reinforcement from the beginning, they're gonna definitely grow up to be the people that are just followers and gullible and can be led to do anything and throw their whole life away over nothing. You know, I have a teenage daughter. I tell her, listen, some of your friends don't have a father to give them good advice, but you do, and I'm gonna tell you, when you with your friends, yes, if that's really your friend, you know who's your friend and who's not your friend. If that's really your friend and people are trying to hurt your friend and you're there, yes, you can protect your friend just like you expect your friend to protect you. But Don't be out there starting no trouble. Don't be out there jumping people. You understand? Because when you get into that, that's when the real trouble starts. That's when it's time, you start going to jail and stuff like that. And if you stay away from that sort of thing, but I'm just giving you that example just to show you the type of things I tell my own child. Most of these kids out here running with gangs and following these YouTubers that's telling them all this nonsense, they don't have anybody like that and never did. And what's worse is a lot of them have kids now. So
Absolutely.
yeah, so just think about it. What are they telling their kids and they wasn't told anything that was right and exact?
But Graham, unfortunately, and I'm not really sure about some of the spaces that you may go, but excuse me, some don't even have relationships with their children, or they're not as strong.
Right, right.
And,
Yeah,
and I don't think a lot of people keep that in mind. I met somebody today when I was going to the market, and we just started to have a conversation. And real nice lady, but she was just telling me about her son and how she's doing her best to get him in the right direction, but there was no father figure, and she just doesn't feel like he's responsible right now.
right. How old is he?
I believe she told me he was 27. Um,
It's a grown man.
exactly. And he still lives there. He was in a bad relationship with a woman who has moved on, has had another child, but as a result of that, he views other women as the same as his child's mother. So I asked her, I said, well, has he spoken to anyone or does he go out? She said all he does is go to work and come back home. So I didn't really know what to say,
Right,
which is sad. And she said that if she wanted to, and she could absolutely put him out, but she said that she would never see her son without shelter. And I understand that, but some people, I would think, maybe, possibly, would say, well, you're enabling that behavior. But is that, or is that just the mother's love of her son?
yeah, it's a mother's undying love for her child, but at some point she has to show some tough love so that he can become a man. You know, if she continues to coddle him, he's never going to truly become a man. He's not supposed to be bringing females. I don't know if this guy is straight or not, but if he is, he's not supposed to be whatever it is. He's not supposed to be bringing company to his mother's house, which I'm sure he does. You understand? You're 27 years old. It's time to get your own place, become a man, make your mama proud if you can. But either way, even if you can't make her proud, at least you're showing this world that you're a man and you're able to stand on your own too. And just go visit moms on holidays and maybe the weekend and stuff like that.
It's sad. I mean, it was a very good conversation, but she she does a lot for his child. She and the child's mother, they try to have a good relationship, but she just she's worried about her son basically. She feels as though if she did put him out, he may end up um, in a bad situation. She did spoil him. She did admit to that. She said she bought him two vehicles and Both of them were repoed because he would take his paycheck and do other things with it. And she told me that after the third vehicle, she said no more. And I'm like,
Right.
after the second one, I would have been done with it. But um, yeah. So that was my question to myself. Are you enabling that behavior, or are you just, because to me, it's something about the boys. They can do anything, and the mother will always be there. I mean, my brother was bad as you know what,
Hmm.
and my mother was right there. But if I made a teeny tiny mistake, and she'd be ready to get the switches to my butt with the
Hmm.
quickness.
Give you a good old fashioned down south ass whooping.
Absolutely.
Fix me a switch, baby.
She would want the biggest ones.
Hmm.
The biggest
One of
ones.
those braided switches.
Oh yeah, we
Hmm.
had them too. So
Hmm.
this
But
this
yeah,
go
Doe,
ahead.
you gotta let your friend know that you don't mean to be cold, but she has to think about what's gonna happen to him when she leaves, if she leaves before he does.
Oh, that's
So
somebody I had just met. I was going to the market, and I spoke, and we just struck up a conversation, and that's how far it went. I mean, we started talking about a lot of things, but no, I think she said she was 62, and she looked good. She looked really, really good, but she was just talking about um having that conversation with her son and letting him know that she wasn't going to be there forever, and she would not be able to leave that house to him because he hasn't proven that he's responsible. So she said he got upset behind that. But I
right, and
don't think
he,
she but I don't think she's wrong in feeling that way.
I hear you, but here's the problem. Just a couple of years, maybe it might have been 2 or 3 years ago now. Probably about 2 years ago. Right in Harlem, New York, in a public housing project, right? This teenage boy deleted his mother,
What?
deleted his mother because she told him to get a job.
When you say
He
teenage, how like
he was about
13?
like 17, like 18 years old,
Oh,
17,
okay.
18 years old, living in his mother's project apartment with the moms and his siblings. This guy deleted his mother, the lady that gave birth to him, just because she told him to get a job. He has to get a job. So these kids, I don't know if he smokes weed or uses drugs
I
or
was
what. I
about
don't
to
know.
ask you, well, do you think that had a role, or was he that diabolical, or do you think something else um, played a role in that? Because I cannot see anyone. I mean, I used to get mad at my mother, don't get me wrong. When she would turn the corner, I would say some bad words. She'd never hear me, but I never even thought of anything like that.
Though this been going on for a long time, even before the case I'm giving you that's closer to today. Uh, Look at the Menendez brothers decades ago. How they what they did to their parents to get the insurance money. You understand?
Yeah, you're right.
So this been and those are white or Hispanic. I believe they were either white or Hispanic. I don't remember now, but this guy
Who
was black.
knows?
But I'm just saying it's all races, male, female. These kids are losing their minds at a rapid pace. It's like they're being possessed by a demon or something. You know, half of them don't believe in God. You know, but they want to be on demon time, but they don't believe in God. So to me, it's like ironic that they can say they're on demon time. So if you're on demon time, then you must think the devil is real, right? So then God got to be real. But you still want to be with the evil one, the bad one, as if when you leave here and go to hell, the devil's gonna be your friend. No, you're gonna suffer like everybody, like every other soul that's down there with the devil. If everything that's written in the book is right and exact, that's how it's gonna go. The devil's not gonna be your buddy. You're not gonna have fun. If you think you're gonna have an AC down there in hell, you chilling while everybody else is burning up. Nah, that's not how it's gonna work. But what happens is it starts from the beginning once again. Kids who are not raised by someone who has like at least some type of good moral fiber to them is not gonna usually turn out good when they become an adult. Now sometimes they do have that and they still turn bad. So I don't know how to explain that. I guess you can chalk that up with like some people just want to do bad. There are some people that just want to be evil. I believe that. You know,
I used to question that often.
hmm there's some people that just want to be wicked. You know,
But that has to come from some origin.
yeah, it's just something in them. Because, for instance, like a serial killer, if you watch any of those interviews, you'll see a lot of them really can't explain why they do what they do. At least it's not a rational explanation. They just do it. They like it's just a part of me. It makes me feel good to delete people. I feel good when I delete people. You know, there's some of them they'll say like in one interview I forget the guy's name, but pretty much the interviewer asked the person, listen, why did you do it? Oh, they were just too nice. I don't like people that I don't trust people that are too nice. So just in
Someone
case
actually
he,
said that.
yeah, something like that. It might not. I don't want to say it verbatim, but something along those lines. Like just like look at the guy. What's his name? Brady. What's his Bundy? Bundy. Ted Bundy.
Ted Bundy. Yes.
Yeah. Look at him. He was just doing it. He was just doing it just to satisfy his sexual fetish. You know, he just enjoyed it. He couldn't get off without doing that. Like I said, some people are just sick. Some people are just wicked. You know, I watched his. They made a film about him. I watched that a movie. They made a movie about him. I watched it, and it was pretty much based on what he what really happened throughout his dirty deeds, and he tried to get his girlfriend to play dead while they were intimate, and she tried it a couple of times, but it kind of freaked out, so she stopped, and so that wasn't good enough for him. He wanted her to be emotionless, no sound, nothing, just play dead, like how you supposed to act if a bear ever attacked you, you know.
Oh my goodness.
That's what he wanted. So he was really into getting down with corpses, so to speak.
So he must have been going through something, and I'm not a psychologist. I don't know this, but I would imagine something probably deep rooted um, as a young person.
Hmm
Because I don't see, again, I'm not under any type of doctor or psychologist umbrella, but I can't see adults just having that in them. I mean, I could be wrong, but No, I think things like that, and again, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I would think or imagine that's been in a person for a period of time. Maybe they wait until they're older to act out on them, but yeah, I would just imagine those ideas, those thoughts, those desires are um are in them at a young age and just it lies dormant, and that's what I would think.
Hey, Doe, check this out. Now, a lot of people are gonna disagree with me on this, but I'm just gonna break it down. I think different than a lot than the common person.
Yes, you do.
Have you ever squashed a bug in your life ever?
Have I ever what?
Have you ever squashed a bug, an insect, ever in your life? Ever?
Wait a minute. I cannot hear you. I'm not playing. What you said?
Have
Have I ever?
have you? Can you hear me now?
Now I can. Yes.
Have you ever squashed a bug or an insect ever in your life, or a rodent, anything in your life ever?
On purpose?
By accident, whatever, it doesn't matter.
Yes.
Okay, guess what? You're a killer. So am I. And and most people will say, "Oh, that doesn't count." But how doesn't it count when all these living things run like heck to get away from you to try to live? The fact that they're running from you means that they don't want to die. They want to live. We don't even think about it like that because they're so small. I'm not saying if it's a mouse in my house, I'm not going to get rid of it. Of course I am, because you don't belong in my house. But if it's outside, I'll leave it alone. You understand? If it's outside of my home, a bug or whatever, I try to leave them alone outside. You never even thought about that probably, but most people don't, because they're like, oh, bugs don't count. Listen, why are they running from you? It's an instinct telling them to survive. They don't want nothing. They want to live. They want to get back to their insect family and all that or whatever. We don't think about it like that. So to me, it's really no different from doing that or doing it to a human. It's the same. Everybody wants to live. Just because you can't hear them telling you no, please don't. But they're telling you no, please don't, because they're running from you. They're running away from you, and you're chasing them down. Even the little kids, when they don't know any better. They don't know no better. Kids are innocent, but you see kids every day trying to stomp on bugs and stuff, and the bugs is running from them, ants and all that. Like, it's life is life, though. I'm not saying that I feel that insects' lives is more important than human lives, because I don't feel that way, because I'm a human. But what I'm saying is, common sense tells us that if they're trying to flee from us when they see us or when we approach and they're trying to run, that's telling you they're trying to escape because they don't want to die.
But what
Same as
about
us.
the
If
ones?
someone comes with a, huh?
But what about the ones that aren't fleeing, but ones that are trying to get to you, like mosquitoes and wasps?
Okay, so at the same time, they're a lot more bolder than other species of insect or whatever, or bug or whatever, mammal, whatever. Anyway, the whole thing is this. Now, they mosquitoes suck our blood, so they need something from us, which is our blood. You understand? So they have no choice but to try to come up on us and get our blood, whether it be us or a cat, a dog, whatever. They're gonna land on anything that has blood and try to draw some of that blood. That's what they're doing. That's what I don't know why they were created. As far as that, I'm not gonna act like I do. I'm not a scientist. I'm just giving you the basic breakdown of
But
fight or
some of
flight.
them carry disease, though, Graham.
Right. So
So we're just supposed to
that
say,
so
okay,
that so that obviously
let me offer you some of my blood because I know that you need some. And it doesn't
no,
matter
I'm
that
not
you
saying that.
carry disease. So just take a little bit and go
No,
on your
I'm not
merry way.
saying that. They're trying to get our blood, and at the same time, they can pass disease and all that. Also, that's true. But that's life. Who knows why God created them? All the point I was making. I'm not saying not to do it or to do it. What I'm saying is we all want to live, no matter what. See, though, most humans think, and I can tell you think that way because of what you just tried to give me an example about. If someone runs down on, like, you know how you do the process serving. If God forbid one day you go to serve somebody something and they pull out a hammer on you right at the door, just they happen to be a nut, they just pull out on you. You're gonna be hoping they
Actually,
don't use it.
someone did, and I had to put my jacket back and let them know. All right,
But do you get what I'm saying? You
yeah,
wanted
yeah,
to
I do.
survive that situation.
I
That's
mean,
the same.
I've been lucky. I'll put it that way, Graham. I've been lucky.
Yeah, all living things want to survive. That's the point I was making about it. That's it. I forgot how we got started on that, but because it's been a few minutes now. But yeah, back to the basically the followers and all that, like, the Jim Jones type followers. We spoke on that a little bit, and how the big, like, YouTubers, they don't even have to be big YouTubers. A lot of them have platforms, but they're not using it in the right way. When I say not using it in the right way, I'm saying they're using it to promote violence and chaos for the most part. We
What
have enough
about
of that. We have enough of that in society already. Why bring it to
absolutely?
the internet? Yeah, go ahead.
So what about the part where they are saying that, and this is odd to me, and this is just me, where some of the followers actually, according to the documentary, let me just say that, signed over homes, their valuables and their possessions. We see that in the form of, as I said earlier, donations and cash apps and super chats. Now, that doesn't mean, and I want to make this clear because I don't want anyone to say, well, she doesn't want anyone to make money and this is a business. No, that's not what I'm saying. But there are some people that I've seen, and one person, and I'll never reveal who, but said to me one time, yeah, I gave my last, and again, I'm not here to judge anyone, but I'm like, why? And I think it's because they were used to doing it so often. And again, being under, in my opinion, that spell, just me, I would not give my last if I have it, if I'm being entertained, because again, this is a business for a lot of people, and I support people when I can. But I'm not going to give my last when I know that I have bills
Right.
and a family, children.
What's even funnier is this: a lot of these YouTubers with the big platforms that get a lot of donations when they go live and all that. Most of them don't even appreciate their fans, and they appreciate the money, but they don't appreciate the fan. And I say that because in the drop of a dime, they'll disrespect them. You know,
So
after
how
they
do you
don't take
feel
money.
about that? Your true
Um,
feelings on that? I've seen that. So how do you feel about that?
the how I feel about it is, trick me once, shame on you. Trick me twice, shame on me. If I fall for it a third time, I must like it. You know what I mean? That's how I feel about it. These people are glutton for punishment. If you support somebody and they disrespect you after you know you supported them, can have a bad day, but if it happens more than once, it's time to make your adjustments. Keep it moving. I just had to cut a YouTuber yesterday. I'm not gonna say his name. He doesn't get any shine off me ever again. The whole thing is, I was cool with him, and I'm cool with another YouTuber, and he also has a big platform just like this guy. So I was basically the bridge between the two that kept them off of each other from talking so bad about each other on a daily basis. Because they were both real cool with me, they would keep it to a minimum. Before I stepped in the picture, they used to be at each other's throat, but when I got in there, they were like, "All right, this is my man. So I don't like you, but I'm gonna leave you alone because you're cool with him, and he showed me support, and I'm showing both of them support. So I even got them to get on a panel and try to talk it out. It worked out a little bit, but eventually they still not cool to this. They're still not cool to this day. Now here's the thing: the guy I cut off, he turned out to be a straight up snake. But God shows you who people are eventually. You just got to give them enough rope to hang themselves. You know what I mean? That's all it is. But yeah, back to people. Listen, everybody watching this who's gonna watch this later. If you're watching it now, you're gonna watch it later. Support all platforms that you enjoy, because at the end of the day, this is pretty much an entertainment or information situation. This is why you're here. You're either here for informational purposes or you're here for entertainment purposes. And if you're enjoying yourself or feel like you're getting something out of watching, content creators, show them some support. Because YouTube
Absolutely.
ain't really, yeah, YouTube's not really paying the way they're supposed to. So definitely keep showing them support and whatnot. But if you see that the YouTuber is using part of your proceeds as well as others to just do nonsense like, oh, go buy a gold chain so they can brag, call you a bum and broke. Oh, you got to go to work, so you're stupid. If you see that they're dissing the working man and all that, and they just using your money to just show off and be lazy and not really contribute anything to life, then make your adjustment. And especially if they disrespect you directly. You know what I mean? Because I see it all the time. I moderate on a lot of different channels, Eyes, and
Mm-hmm.
I see it all the time. These people have be done gave these people $1,000 in like
Yep.
maybe a year in donations. Drop
But
of a
is that
hat.
wrong?
Yeah, a lot of people send. There's people that really send these people a lot of money. I don't know. I don't know why they do it, but they do it.
Okay,
You
give me
know.
1 second. Dave, if that's you, put a 1 in the chat or let me see you in the chat real quick, please. Hold on for a second, Graham. Hopefully you can hear me.
Yeah.
Okay. Dave, if you are in the chat, hold on.
He wrote. He wrote. It's me.
I'm looking. Okay, it says it's me.
Mm-hmm.
Can you put your camera on real quick, just to be sure no one else will see? Okay, cool. Dave? Dave?
He popped up and bounced, and he bounced back out. He'll probably be right back.
Okay, you can cut your camera off, Dave. Dave, if you can hear me, you can cut your camera off. Okay, he's not answering. Hopefully he can hear me. Dave, you can cut your camera off.
He probably lost the signal, though. He's probably gonna come back
Okay. But yeah,
because I don't see him on the panel.
I don't
You
either.
probably see him in the back. I don't see him on the panel.
Okay, he dropped off. Maybe he'll come back. Yeah, it's really hard. It is difficult because what you just said is so true. There are people, but there are some people that can afford to donate thousands and thousands. And I'm not talking just over, um, okay, is that you? All right, there we go. Hey,
Yeah. How you doing?
how are you?
How you doing? Salute to the host. Salute to you too, bro. I was just saying, like a lot of people, like growing up and seeing people like in the gangs and into sororities and stuff like that. A lot of people just want to be a part of something, and they pay for it. Am I getting an echo?
Okay, Dave, can you speak up a little bit more? Can you hear him, Graham?
Hold on, let me
He sounds
give me.
low. I heard him say something about sororities.
No, I said when I was growing up, I noticed like a lot of people gravitated to sororities, gangs, different things. Everybody wanted to be accepted to something. So that's how I think a lot of people get cash apps and get involved in stuff just because they want to be accepted to something like, you know.
Yeah, and they trying to buy love. They trying to buy friendship, and that can't be purchased. But some people got to learn the hard way. You cannot buy love. You can't buy respect. You got to earn that.
Right, but it's been going on for so long.
Hmm. He dropped off again.
Oops, hopefully he'll come back. But yeah, that he made a good point as far as groups, and that's what I was speaking about. Well, how do you feel about people that have to, or they have this dying need to be a part of a group? Or let me put it this way, those people that don't agree with the host, but because they're a part of a large following, they don't want to go against the grain for fear of being excommunicated.
Yeah, because a lot of people are like Indians. I don't no offense to the Indians. I'm Cherokee Indian. I don't mean it in that way. What I mean is most people are not chiefs. Most people are just Indians. You understand? Most people are followers. Most people are not leaders. That's what I mean by that. So most people feel comfortable following. Very few people feel comfortable leading. You understand? Like
But doesn't,
me,
but don't you get lost
I'm
in
the
your
type
own
of person.
identity?
Go ahead, say that again.
Don't you get lost in your identity when you become a follower? And that's different than supporting. I'm talking about actually a follower because you don't know how to lead in your own lives.
No, they don't get lost. They feel comfortable. It's like a fish to water for these types of people. You know what I mean? Going against what everybody else is doing is unnatural to these types of people. Like you're a leader. You know how I know that? Because you have your own panel, you have your own channel. You get on here by yourself at times. You don't even need to have me up here. You don't need to have anybody else up here. You can just talk on your own. That signs of being a individual person, someone who can stand on their own. You understand? Most most people cannot get up here and do what we're doing right now because they're shy. uh they're worried about what people are going to say about them or think about them. you know like for instance, let me show you something though. Listen, I just like right now, let's see. Right now I don't right now I got a do-rag on, and I don't even have that light plugged in. That's why I have my camera on. I don't want to be on your camera looking like a thug. You understand? Like, That's why I have my camera on. But most people care what the world
A lot
thinks
of
about them.
guys wear do rags at night, especially when they're getting ready to go to bed.
Yeah, but all I'm saying is most people wouldn't even get on unless their camera ready, because they care so much. You should be camera ready if you're going to get in front of an audience. I'm not saying you shouldn't. That's professional to do so. But I'm just saying what we are separates us from followers. And there's nothing wrong with followers. There's nothing wrong with everybody. Listen, if everybody was a leader, there'd be no show. Nothing would get accomplished if everybody was trying to lead. You understand? Because you're not telling me nothing because I can go. You get what I'm saying? So you need followers in this world. The problem is the bad leaders, the ones leading people to the hellfire, the ones leading people to prison, the ones leading people to destitute, and poverty. Those are the leaders that we don't need anymore. The ones telling their followers they don't need an education. It's cool not to take care of your kids or your elderly family. Those are the ones that need to be done away with. That's just my opinion. You know.
How do you fight that? Or how do you get those sheep to not only listen but to hear that sentiment?
Uh, if not, I don't want to speak on just myself. Anyone who feels it's important to them that they do something to cause change in a positive way, they have to start a platform or start a movement. And the people that are meant to be a part of that movement will eventually become a part of that movement. Because you got to, another thing about life though, is so many people on this earth. I don't believe everybody's meant to get along. You know, now I'm a Capricorn. I pretty much try to get along with everybody. But it's just some people that just have a negative energy like to them and right off the bat. Like, and I don't go by just looks. I'll go by what you got to say out your mouth, or I can like I look at you, we lock eyes and you speak. I get that. I right away. I get that inclination of whether I'm going to even deal with you at all. You understand? And like I said, not everybody's meant to be cool. We can all exist, but we don't all have to try to be chummy. You understand?
I do.
Yeah.
I, I do understand. I don't know if I agree with that 100%.
Oh,
But
you feel everybody can get along with each other?
I, well, no, no. I think I think there's a possibility that people can respectfully coexist. And that doesn't mean that they're going to sit there and nod their heads in agreement with everything that someone says, but they're at least open to listening or or hearing a different perspective. Now, whether they go away with a changed mind, that's different, but having at least an open mind to listen, I think people can do that. Again, that's just me though.
I hear you. I'm certain your boy Judge Joe Brown would feel differently about that. I'm sure he'd agree with me on this one. I'm certain about that. You know, as a judge, he's seen so many different quarrels between men and men, women and women, man and woman, adult
Mm-hmm.
and child. Not everybody's going to get along. That's just how life is. But the only thing I do agree with you with is that yes, we can all coexist. But eventually, will bang heads because that's just life. You know, it could be something as simple as what are you looking at? You just might glance and might look at somebody and they want to start something because you looked at them and they don't like the way you looked at them. You understand?
Yeah, but that was back in high school days.
Oh, this happens now all over the world,
Oh my
not just in the
goodness.
country. Yeah, some people just, like I said, some people are just looking for a problem. You know, some people don't feel like their day went well if they didn't get into a altercation. You know, do you drive? Though,
Huh?
do you drive?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so you see people have road rage every day when you're on the road, right or wrong?
Yes,
Right.
absolutely.
Over nonsense. Go crazy. F you. Like, yo. Some people jump out the car ready to really fight. And sometimes it might go further than that. People are lost right now. They like they say it's a spiritual war going on in the world. I
Yeah, I'm
believe that.
guilty of that. I can admit that. I'm guilty of people getting too close up on me, and I've had opportunities where I've actually gotten out and asked a person, "Are you okay? Why are you so close on me?"
Wow.
I, yeah, I
And
mean,
that
I'm
was
really,
so dangerous, though. That was so dangerous for you to do
I
that.
know, my cousin got on me about that. I'm actually very quiet and mild mannered, but I have a streak in me,
Hmm.
and I don't like that. I have been hit from behind, so I get really paranoid when someone drives up that close to me,
Right.
and I have done that, and I know that isn't an intelligent thing to do, but that I have a temper, and
I,
that's a
I,
pet,
I've seen your temper already. I've
and that's a
seen it.
pet peeve of mine. So I try to control it. It's not always easy, Graham. I mean, I'm human.
Right. Nah, you are. You are.
Now, Graham, let's not talk about tempers now.
Oh, yeah, I have a temper.
'Cause I've heard yours.
Yeah, I have a temper. But my temper comes when people play too much. You know, stop playing. Like, you know what happens though? A lot of times, it might be when I'm under the influence. I'm intoxicated. So often people think they can take advantage of a person because they're intoxicated, whether that be physical or mental, verbally or physically.
So now
Of
you're
course,
gonna blame.
being that we're on social media, it would have to be verbally. What people have to realize is some people can drink and still speak how they really feel. And they'll remember the next day. I'm one of those people. I may sound a little different. I may be slurring a little bit, but I know what I'm telling you. So don't try to use this as a chance to try to disrespect me and try to. I'm not talking about you, though. I'm talking about in general. When I'm talking to people, don't try to use that to try to think you could get over because I still know what I'm saying. If I feel like I'm that fired up, I won't even get on social media when I'm fired up like that. But I don't let myself get to the point where I can't, articulate my words. So or speak with comprehension. So though, but that's like I said, that comes back into you can't you can't get along. You can try, but it's hard to get along with everyone because a lot of people, you give them an inch, they try to take a mile. A lot of people take kindness for weakness, though. You know that.
Yeah, and my mom used to say that often to me when I was a lot younger. She was like, "You better start learning how to speak up. And I think she created a monster. I mean, for the most part, I'm still pretty much quiet, but if you get me at a certain time, then I'll speak up, and then sometimes I end up going a little bit too far, and then I'll feel bad afterwards. And then sometimes I don't, depending upon what it is.
Right. I
Because
had this fella, I had this dude the other day, actually yesterday. He tells me, "Oh, I did 18 years. I forget the. Don't quote me on the number of years, but he did a lot of time in prison."
you said he did a lot of time in prison.
Yes, a guy I was
Why
arguing
is
with.
that a badge of honor? I mean, I understand people
No, no.
go through.
Why? What I want to know is why does he think that that means that he can kick my ass? My man, I done fought so many people that been in and out of prison. What does that mean? I'm still a man because you went to prison. What I'm supposed to bend over and let you do whatever you want to me because you from prison? No. And that's what a lot of these ex-cons got to get out of their head. This is real life. Plus, in the street, we got access to weapons more than you can get access to in prison. So just show people the respect you want them to show you. Don't like a lot of people get it twisted, especially a lot of dudes that did a lot of time. They get it twisted. Oh, because you never did time or you didn't do a lot of time like me. That means you're a punk. No, that means that I was fortunate not to lose my freedom. That's what that means.
So you
But they think it
actually,
makes them macho and tough because they went to prison and came back. No, and 9 times out of 10, you came back fruity. You came back liking dope. Like 9 times out of 10, and you bragging about that?
I'm not gonna say that because I don't believe, and I'm not gonna stay on that subject. But I don't believe that everyone that comes out um, may have run into that type of situation. Some maybe, but I don't think everybody.
Yeah, I didn't say everybody. I said a lot. Most.
I
Though
mean
is I know
that's a
it.
lot. Most
Though
is a lot.
I have friends and family who did a lot of time, and I hope that they're the small percent who came back regular went in and came back how they went in a regular guy. But there's a lot of guys that turn kind of wild after they've been around dudes for that long. That's all I'm gonna say about that. And I'm not saying nothing against these people. The point I was making is a lot of guys think that going to prison is a badge of honor. That, and we got to get rid of that mentality. That's crazy. You know, it's not like you volunteered to go to prison. No, you did something, got caught, or
But
maybe you was falsely accused.
at the same time, some people, and you know this for a fact, um, they're serving time for something they didn't do. So you got to keep that in mind as well.
Absolutely. That's why I said some people might be in there for something they didn't even do. They're innocent. And yes, I commend all convicts for surviving that hell on earth. I'm not acting like it's sweet, but don't think because you come on the street that a person that been in the street did all their life or most of their life is a punk because you was in prison.
So you
Just
had,
show people the respect you want them to show you, and that's that. You know, that's
well,
what brothers got to learn to do. You know,
so you were having an argument with someone.
yeah, yeah. Like I said, I'm not gonna say the brother's name. You know, it's pointless. Me, my man. You'll probably sneak on my channel, or you might hear this on Doe's channel eventually. Listen, we're never gonna be cool again. This is the second time you disrespected me on your live channel. I gave you a shot the first time. I fought back a couple days. I came back. Everything was all good. He even let me up on his panel and then disrespected me again, though. That's it. You're not getting more than two chances to disrespect me.
Wow.
That's it. I don't need your channel. Like I got plenty of YouTube allies that got platforms and they gave me wrenches and all that, and so I don't need. That's what dudes don't realize. I'm an asset to people. I'm not a liability. I'm an asset, and y'all are assets to me as well, though. Those of you doing your thing, word up. But I have enough people with channels that I enjoy where I don't have to just hang out at one. All right, it ain't working out. I'll see you later. You know,
But was
that's
the
it.
disrespect really bad, or were they trying to play it off,
Yo, it
or was
was to the
bad?
point where I wanted to snap the dude's neck. Once you get me to that
Oh,
point, it's
Graham.
a wrap. I'm not, because if we was in person, it wouldn't have been nothing to argue about. You understand? I'm gonna leave it at that. So once it gets to that point, it's like, see, though, a lot of people get the fact that I'm a well-spoken brother. They think that got anything to do with violence, but they're foolish. But those type of people, I already know they really ain't really been around to know what's really going on. You understand? In real life. But once I get to the point where I feel like I want to snap your neck, I'm gonna just leave you alone.
Wow, I'm really sorry that happened. I'm surprised that that
Yeah.
happened. I thought, knowing you, as long as I have, in panels that we've had, that you'd be able to diffuse a situation.
Though I was fired up yesterday off some cognac,
See, I knew it. I knew you were gonna come with something.
but I'm still. But that's my point. I tried to tell you earlier. Some people think that someone's intoxicated. It's the next day, and I still remember exactly what happened, and I know why it happened. And I got pissed off a lot faster than I normally would because I was intoxicated. But the point is, don't try to play with me. Like it's other people on the on the panel. Play with them. You know, I don't never play with you in a disrespectful way like that. You know, he he tried to clown me on his channel. You understand?
But you
Don't
can't get
clown
past
me.
it though.
Do what you would do in person. I don't believe you'll try to clown me in person because you don't understand that I'm a man that 'cause I command respect when I'm in person. Like you're not gonna most people, the only type of people that play with me in person are people with mental problems, and I don't deal with them anyway. I'm telling you though, 99% of the people I had problems with in real life had mental issues. I don't know what it is about them, about me, but I always get into it with people that are on medication. I don't know how it happens. Even times you ever been to New York City though?
I have, yes.
Right, riding the subway. So many different times I'm just sitting there minding my business, and a crazy person comes on the train and stops right by me. Could you spare some change? I'm like, nah, I ain't got no money. No, stop lying, man. You got money. Now I gotta figure out how not to get into a physical with this dirt bomb because I don't want to touch him. You understand what I'm saying, though? One of the worst things you can do is fight with a dirty, stinking bum. I'm
Watch it,
not.
Graham.
I'm not hating on them for being homeless. I'm talking about they're filthy. Though, do you want to fight someone that's filthy?
I don't want to fight anyone.
I, I. But do you get what I'm saying? So
I
now you
understand what you're
trying
saying,
to.
but I don't want to fight anyone. It
Neither
shouldn't
do,
matter
neither do
whether
I.
they're what their situation is. I wouldn't want to fight anyone. Now, will
The
I, if I
point. The
have to
point I'm making is
defend
this:
myself? Yes.
if you have to defend yourself, you prefer the person not be somebody. If they touch you, they're gonna leave black grease all over you or something from their or whatever that is on their fingers, and they're stinking and all that. That's what I'm saying. But most of the time, it be the mentally ill that I get into it. I don't know. I don't know why that is. You know, it's like my spirit. They get drawn to it or something. Now I haven't had a physical altercation with any of them yet, but Just the fact that they feel like they need to look. I said I don't have any money. I don't have any change. Now you want to dispute whether I got change or not.
There are people without, um, I'll just say, emotional challenges that will tell you, yes, you do have change, because I've had it happen to me when I truly, honestly didn't. I may have only just had a card, or maybe not even that. I may have been going to the market just to use the restroom. I mean, I've been cursed out. As a matter of fact, I kid you not, and this really ticked me off, and I hope I don't go to a warm place for this, but I went to a filling station to get fuel before I went to work.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know if you've ever heard this. Um, I call it the con game. But you go to a gas station, and either a male or female will come up to you and say, do you have a couple of dollars? Um, we just came in from such and such place. Or it's always people are getting in from out of town, and they just need a couple of dollars to put in their tank. First thing that
Right.
comes across my mind is gas is almost $4 a gallon. $2 gonna get you. If you're already on E. But this man, and I kid you not, and when I think about it, I still get a little bit irritated. I was getting out and it was already hot, and I don't like the heat. I get really, really irritated in the heat. And he said,
Uh-huh.
"Hi, I think he said his name was Richard, um, and I'm a pastor at such and such." And I said, "I already know what you're about to do. I cannot believe this." So before he even started, I said, "Sir, I just put my card in the reader. I have no cash on me, but have a good morning." So he looked at me and said, "Well, you didn't even allow me to finish what I was about to say." I said, "I'm letting you know I do not have any cash." I said, "But have a good morning." And he stood there and looked at me like, you know what?
Yeah, uh-huh.
And I'm looking at him like, okay. So after I finished my gas, I went to the restroom and I came back. He was at another vehicle with the same story, but this time he looked up. And the guy said, "If you need anything more, let me know." And I said, "Lord have mercy. I've seen it all." So I'm saying that to say, back to this cult thing, and,
Hmm.
and, and religion, and how people feel empowered. People who have the gift of gab, they can pretty much feed you lines of, you know what, and tell you. And see, that's the thing. He started off with Richard, and I'm a pastor.
Right.
Why would you have to? And this is just me. Maybe I'm thinking or overthinking, but why would you have to insert a portion of your resume?
Oh, so that you respect him. And so you give him a chance. That was his introduction.
There
You
you go.
know, he was trying to make you at ease. Like, listen, you about to help a pastor, a man of the Lord. You know, a child of the Lord, a man of the cloth. He just wanted. That was his introduction. You know, he. Do you think he really was a pastor or no?
Graham, ask
Huh?
yourself that. I said, Graham, ask yourself that question.
No, I don't believe you thought he was a pastor, but you do realize that there are a lot of pastors who might not look like your typical pastor, your typical minister.
Absolutely.
He may have went to Bible school. He may have went to, we don't know, but
The point I'm trying to make is he tried to play a game and then use a title that is attached to a church, I guess, to play on my sympathy or whatever. And I saw it a mile away. And as I said, when I left the restroom, this younger gentleman had just, I guess, helped him with his gas issue. And the young guy said, if you need any more, just let me know. And I'm sitting there
gotcha.
looking at him like, wow. How many gas stations are you going to go to with that story and see in this area? In this
I get,
area, it
I get
happens
you,
all the time.
though. I get what you're saying. All I can tell you is, hopefully, you were right in uh denying him what he was asking for. If you know, but here's what I do. I give people, if someone asks me for something and I have it and it's not gonna hurt me to give it to them or loan it to them, I just do it out of the kindness of my heart. If I don't want to do it, I'm not gonna do it. See, this way, no matter what they're using it for, I did out of the kindness of my heart, so I know my blessing is gonna come eventually. Maybe I'm in a jam that makes like where I have to ask someone for help. I'm never the type to do something for someone and care about what they're gonna use it for. Listen, they could tell me whatever story they want. Look, I don't have any food in the house. I haven't eaten in 3 days. Hey, listen, and they may be telling me a lie. Maybe they want to go buy a bag of weed or a bottle of liquor or something. I don't know. Here, man. Here, here you go. No problem. Don't even worry about it. And another thing, when I give somebody something, even if I loan it to them, 9 times out of 10, I don't even expect it back. You know why? When you expect it back, you're setting yourself up for disappointment. If they give it back, beautiful. That's a bonus. I wasn't even expecting it back because most people, if you notice though, when they borrow or even get something from you, they'll never return the favor of equal value, if at all.
You're absolutely right. And if I had, I would have. And I did a live and I was talking about the homeless population and how sad it is. But this man was driving an expensive car. He was dressed in a very spiffy outfit. So I'm sorry, Graham. Again, I didn't have it, but it was just the look that he gave me when I told him I don't have any cash, as if I was wrong in stopping him in his tracks.
Mm.
I've had people where they said, "Do you have any spare change?" And I try to keep change on me. A lot of times I'll like go to the little filling stations and use the what is it, the car vac to vacuum out, especially when we have storms or rain and a lot of leaves get into the car. So I try to keep change in. So I remember this was years ago. I gave this lady, this was a lady
Mm.
now, all the change that I had. And I'm being serious, I did. She said, "That's all you got?" And I looked at her and I said, "Yes, ma'am." She was like, "Damn, you're in worse shape than me." And I said, "No, she did not." She said,
Yo, the same thing happened to me maybe a
I'm
summer
like, oh
ago.
my God, I just got dogged.
Yeah,
Doing my best. That's people for you. That's people for you, though.
yeah. I this dude asked me, brother, could you spare a couple of could you spare $1? I believe he said $1. So I went in my pocket and I pulled out like 50 cents, and he was like, oh no, that's all right, bro. You keep that. I was like, well, damn, I hear you. Like he looked like he was homeless, like what
But
a
see,
homeless
you
person.
don't know though. You don't know all the time. You don't know the person's story, and that's actually a good topic. If you should give a person money if they say they're hungry, or buy them something to eat. Well, I've had this conversation or debate with people, and I remember I was in DC one time, and DC is filled with vendors, especially hot dog vendors. So this guy, I was going to the courthouse, one of the courthouses, and when I came back, and all of the courthouses have at least 2 or 3 vendors, the guy said, I sure am hungry. I said, well, if you wait a second, I'll go get you a hot dog. He said, I didn't tell you I want no damn hot dog. Just give me some money. And I'm
He
like,
said, I don't eat no damn glizzies.
I don't want no damn hot dog. Just give me some money.
Though, never offer a man a glizzy, though. Not in
I
2024.
recently, because I'm part of a drop now, but I learned what a glizzy was. So please don't bring that up. But my feelings were really hurt.
Hmm. Nah, us heterosexual men, we don't eat those. No, ma'am. Mm-mm.
It's a lot of heterosexuals around those courthouses that will go right on out to those vendors. Matter of fact, they either get the Italian sausage or half smoked. I don't think they do the regular hot dogs anymore. But those are
Oh,
now
so they putting
expensive.
big glizzies in their mouths. Pause.
See, Graham, I knew Graham was going to come out sooner or later, but no, the point I'm making is sometimes you honestly try to be kind to people, and even with your kindness,
Hmm.
you get disrespected, and I couldn't believe it. And I'm saying to myself, if you were truly hungry, and maybe I'm wrong in thinking the way that I think, that you would have accepted it graciously.
Of course. Most of these people don't be hungry. Well, yeah, most of them don't be hungry. That's just their hustle, most of them. They trying to get their bread together for whatever they're going to use the money for. But I remember one time I was riding the train, and this homeless black lady got on the train, and a woman had a box of like a 24 box of Krispy Kreme donuts, right? In her bag, but it said Krispy Kreme on the outside, and you could see the rectangle box with like 24 donuts in it. So this lady comes on the train, and first she asks people, if anybody could spare any change or anything. Then she gets up to the lady, and yo, this filthy black woman just grabs this lady's bag and starts busting down her Krispy Kreme donuts in front of this lady's face. She was like, "Give me that, I'm hungry." Like a savage, eating it right in front of her. I
Well,
couldn't
why
believe it.
couldn't you just say this woman? Why did she have to be a filthy black woman?
She no, she was. I'm no, I'm, being that I can't show y'all a photo or a video of her, I'm just describing what she looked like. She was literally filthy, like she was a dirty homeless black lady. She was. I don't mean it in a derogatory sense. I'm telling you what her fingernails were filthy. She was dirty, ripped up clothes on, had an odor to her. You could tell she lives in the streets, you know.
But
So I'm just
unfortunately,
describing.
that happens to a lot of people. So now, what she did, that wasn't right, but you don't know her circumstance, why she's like that or was like that. But no, hey
Do
there,
I need
everybody
to?
from
Do
Georgia.
I need to know her circumstance? That why she just grabbed a total stranger's property and ate it in front of her face.
No, it's the way that, but I know you, Grant. That is the way that you said it.
I listen. She violated, and this was a Spanish woman that she did this to. This. Let me give you one other time. One of my black sisters made our Nubian queens look bad out here. I was on the train again in New York City.
And you need to get off that train and find another one.
I forget what it might have been. It might have been the D train I was on, right? And I think I got on at Columbus Circle in Manhattan. Anyway, long story short, this white guy is minding his own business. I was watching the whole situation. He's minding his own business, right? This black sister comes on, stands next to him, and decides something provoked her to just grab a fistful of his hair and wouldn't let it go. And this dude is like trying to slap her hands off, and she got a good grip to it. And then finally she let him go, and the train came. And he was like, yo, what the fuck are you doing? Like, and I told the sister, I said, listen, you violated. I just saw it now. If he would have whooped your ass, pardon my French, I wasn't gonna stop him. You violated. She should not have touched that dude. Why are you coming? This is what I don't like when people just bother people for no reason. She don't know this guy from a hole in the wall, grabs his hair for no reason, though, just to do it. He would have had every right to whip her butt if he felt like it. Luckily, he wasn't built like that. And what she said to me, she was like, "Oh yeah, whatever." Rolled her eyes. I'm like, "Yeah, all right. You should be ashamed of yourself for that." Like I don't know this guy at all, but I saw he was on the train already. She gets on the train and just decides, let me just pick somebody to mess with. What would your reaction have been if she did that to you, Doug? Grabbed your hair just for no reason, just grabbed your hair.
I can't even fathom that right now, to be honest. I've
Yeah, I
heard
was like, that's embarrassing.
a lot of things, but that's really bizarre.
Yep.
But I don't condone or agree that okay, hold on, Joy. I don't agree with I don't agree with people touching one another when they don't know you. So no, I
Come on,
don't
you
condone.
got people. You remember you ever heard of a wet willy?
A what?
A wet willy.
No.
All right. That's when somebody licks their finger and sticks it in your ear. People be doing that to total strangers in New York City. Like people, they think it ain't nothing gonna happen if they do it. That they think they can kick their ass. People do stuff like that. That's what I'm saying. People just look for trouble. I'm telling you.
That's sick, Graham.
Yeah, I'm telling you, you gotta protect. And now, and especially in New York, now you got all these migrants out here. not all the migrants are bad, but the hoods that's out here now, the hoodlums, the street migrants, they turning New York City into like a they trying to make New York City turn into like Mad Max or something. You know the movie Mad Max with
I've
Mel
heard of
Gibson?
it.
Well, you know like a post-apocalypse type movie. You ever
Yes.
seen any of those? Like how society looks after the apocalypse? Like everything's run down and people are living like savages and it's no law.
Yes.
Yes, that's how they trying to turn New York City and all the major cities that they're in. You know, look, it's to the point where they got the cops scared of them. Like they fighting with the cops every day. You know, one
And
cop
this
just got
is,
carjacked. One cop just got carjacked by some migrants a few weeks ago. It was on the news.
I've been reading a lot about that situation. So is it centered in New York as a whole or New York City? I'm not really
New
sure how
York
that
City,
works. New
the
York City,
five boroughs, mainly Manhattan.
Manhattan.
Yeah, mainly.
Now, is that part of downtown or where is that?
Like the Midtown area. Like I'd say from like Central Park to like maybe 28th Street. So from like 59th Street to 28th Street, and like across from like 6th Avenue all the way to maybe 8th Avenue. Yeah, they running wild because in this like in that whole square area that I just named, they got so many like homeless shelters, like hotels they turned into homeless shelters for the migrants. So you see a lot of these migrant women out there prostituting and all that. And the dudes, they just taking the crime like a fish to water. And I don't know where they getting all these weapons from. On the
Excuse
news,
me.
the dudes that carjacked the police officer, the off-duty police officer, they had a machine gun, according to the news.
So who's your excuse me, mayor out there?
Mayor Adams.
And what's he doing about that? I mean, or is there anything that can
He
be
was
done?
his hands are tied. It's not much he can do because you know the mayor is just similar. The mayor is similar to the president. They don't really have much power. They just do whatever legislation tells them to do. You know what I mean? That's really the truth. They're just a mouthpiece to the people. They don't really have much authority. They're taking orders from the Senate and all that. But he was on Mayor Adams was on another podcast that I moderate called the Beat 139 for an interview a few months back, and he said these migrants are getting bussed in from Texas. The ones that are in New York, they're busting them in all the way from Texas. Like, they decided to make New York City a sanctuary city.
So do you agree or disagree with that?
I disagree with it. He should have never did it. You know, why why bring all these extra people to a city that's already packed with people? You get it? Like, why do that? New York City was already
Oh,
overcrowded and underfunded.
wait a minute, underfunded? I thought you all had plenty of resources.
overcrowded and underfunded. The police are underfunded now, you know, because of back when ever since they defunded the police. Remember the fella that the cops kneeled on his neck and he passed away?
George Floyd.
I forgot the guy's name.
George Floyd.
Yeah, George Floyd. Yeah, yeah. Ever since then, they took a lot of the police's resources away. You know,
But that
so
didn't happen in New York.
I know, but they did it in New York also
Wow.
for many different reasons. For many different reasons, you know, many different reasons. You know, that just was like the trigger. That just like triggered things that happen all over the country. In most major cities, the police lost a lot of funding. You know, yeah. That's why
Wow. I
even if
did.
you go out, even if you go out to LA, you don't want to go out there right now. It's like the wild wild west out there.
In Los
Very
Angeles?
dangerous. Yeah, very dangerous. Yeah,
Didn't know that.
yeah. Oh, go visit. Go visit and wear your jewelry. Go out there with some jewelry on.
No, thank you.
Them guys will be like, hey, kid, you ain't check in, kid. Catch you at Roscoe's or something.
That
Or
is sad. I
at
said
Pink.
that I wanted to go to the South, wanted to relocate to the South where it's quiet and nothing but country life.
Man.
Like North Carolina or a little rural area in Georgia. That's always been on my vision board. Whether or not it'll come to fruition, I don't know, but this area is too expensive. Crime rate is astronomical. I mean, it's truly getting out of hand.
Right. Doaz, you gotta realize something. No matter where you go in this country, it's gonna be a pretty high level of crime.
Yes, but here,
No matter where you go in this country. And the
true.
reason is because most people are thinking like you thinking, oh, let me move out to the country. Where it's gonna no, it's not gonna be peaceful because all these people is shooting out there too from the city and all that. So they bringing their city ways to the country. So the country is eventually going to turn into the city. You know? Yep.
Yeah, but I don't want to hear um, gunshots every night where I may go or um,
I can
people
dig it.
blasting people blasting their music wee hours of the morning. I mean, it wasn't like that at one time. I understand times change, but I mean, being considerate of your neighbor, that shouldn't change. And I know there are places where just
You,
peace
you
exists.
know what I find scary? Although I'd like to live to be an old man, imagine being elderly. The way things are headed, it's going to be scary to be elderly in the next 20, 30, 40 years. It's already scary for us. Just imagine, unless it's a dramatic change and people start living right, it's going to be really scary to be old because these kids don't have no respect for their elders. You understand?
They don't have, well, some of them don't have respect for themselves or their parents. So absolutely, you're absolutely right about that. We had that conversation, myself and that lady earlier today. We're talking about the young kids. You can't even try to correct them now because they'll cuss you out, or um, depending upon how angry they are, they might try to bring bodily harm to you.
Exactly.
You know, back in the day, you couldn't do that. You couldn't backtalk an elder. They would knock the you know what out of you in a minute. And then when you get home, you get another one from your mother.
Hmm.
But nowadays,
Oh, now these days, the mama jumped with the baby.
these
Because
kids, girl,
you gotta realize grandmothers are 30 years old now, 35 years old.
I
You
keep
know what I
hearing
mean?
that.
Grandmothers are not grandmothers no more.
But Graham, at some point, this madness has to stop.
Yeah. Somebody's gonna have to hit the reset button. But
It might be
the
too late.
Lord has a plan. The Lord knows best. We're just mere humans, playing our part in this thing called life.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
That's
we're just playing
interesting.
our
But
part.
I'm concerned with the young people, and that's another thing when you think about cults and feeling accepted. Like Dave was saying earlier, white people join these sororities and fraternities. Um, I'm not sure if you, because I know you read a lot, but I read briefly, and I may do something on it. I may not. Again, this isn't something that's new, and I'm surprised that it still happens. But someone was unalived as a result of hazing, and to me, I believe a lot of people, and in my opinion, join these organizations, if you will, maybe sometimes because they might have low self-esteem, or again, needing to feel a part of something because maybe something is missing.
Right.
Because how does, and maybe I'm ignorant to this, and I'm not ashamed to say it because I don't understand, how does that type of abuse where you're unalive show brotherhood?
Uh,
You're really going to try to come up with an answer to that? It doesn't.
no, I'm trying to
Oh, word it
basically, you
correctly.
know what it is? All I can tell you is this: the streets don't make sense, so it's pointless to try to make it make sense. Like street rules don't make sense. You know, if, for instance, if there's a guy or woman doing something wrong to anybody, like doing something wrong, no matter what, according to the streets, you cannot tell them. No matter what it is, even if they're abusing a child, you can't tell them. That's the street rules, because if you do, you're a snitch. You understand? Now, some street people will say, "Oh, nah, that don't count. That's different. You can tell on them." No, but the ones that's really, which is most of them, that's really stuck on that, especially the ones that's in prison, you can't tell about anything. You can't tell at all. They like, let the streets handle it, or mind your business. That's not your business. You understand? You can't tell at all, even if it's somebody hurting a child. You can't tell at all, or you're a rat.
Are you serious? When it
Yeah, that's
comes
the
to
street
children?
rules.
When it comes to children, Graham?
That's the street rules. Like I said, the streets is street life is a savage life, though. Like all prison and streets and all that. That's all savage stuff. That like I'm not saying every single person in there is a savage, but most people live like savages who's in the street and in prison. That's just you have to survive to survive. You understand if you choose that route, you know, and
So you don't think
savages don't have
anyone,
no rules. The only rules savages have is no telling. That's the only rule savages have.
so you don't think that anyone that comes out, or you don't think that some that come out, um, can't be reformed?
Yeah, some get reformed, but most don't. I'd say 1% get reformed. 1%.
Graham, are you serious? 1%.
Though eyes, I'm all prison do is make you a better criminal. If you survive it, it makes you a better criminal. If you survive it,
Wow.
and you know what happens after all the abuse you endure in there, like a lot of them, it turns you into like a cold-hearted person also. So it don't make you better. Most people it makes worse. Whether they might not be a criminal anymore when they get out, but they're still going to be cold-hearted because of all the stuff they witnessed or had to deal with when they was in there. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I'm gonna have to try to do some research on that, because I mean, you could apply that to a lot of things in life, not just prison. I mean, think about, okay, I know this is going way left, but think about, I really shouldn't bring it up, but it's true. At least when I was coming up, um, altar boys in Catholic Church, the ones that, you
Excuse me.
okay? You sound like me over there. Um, the secrets that they've had to keep for years and years. You don't think some of those boys that grew up to be men don't have cold hearts?
All right.
No, I
Yo,
was
say the
asking.
last part
No, I was
again.
saying, the think about the altar boys that were in the Catholic Church that kept certain secrets for years and years and years. You don't think any of them grew up to have cold hearts?
Of course. Yeah, that, like when you see what does that tell you about society? When you got altar boys being abused by the priests and all that, who can you trust? Can you trust anyone? When you see even the priest is getting in on the action, huh?
No, I'm listening, and
I'm asking
every,
you, who can you trust? If you can't trust the priest, who can you trust?
well, I mean, that's the same thing. If you really want to, as a famous YouTuber from New York would say, if you really want to get funky with it, what about guidance counselors in schools, the bus drivers, coaches?
Yeah, a lot of those people get those type of jobs. Believe it or not, a lot of those weird type people get those type of jobs because they want to be in close quarters with kids.
And if
It's
you
it's really sick.
research, you're right. And if you do some research, you'll find a myriad of articles and stories where coaches and not just teachers, but the coaches, guidance counselors, even bus drivers, aides that have been charged with, I'll just say, inappropriate behavior with children. That's why a lot of people speak about homeschooling.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got to think about also, think about the population of children who may have experienced these inappropriate behaviors, but they're afraid to tell their parents because either their parents may not believe them or they may feel responsible or guilty or whatever a young child would feel and shouldn't have to. So, I mean, factor all of that
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes, yes. Listen, Noah's it's I luckily never had to experience these things. I was blessed not to have to go through these things growing up. Like I told you, my family structure was a little different than most, you know. But for those kids out there and those adults who grew up and survived it, I feel sympathy for them, you know.
but what's the resolution? Can there be a resolution?
There's no resolution because people who do stuff like the, you know, though this behavior's been going on way before you and I were even in existence. You know,
Agreed.
before it was even law, really. Like, not saying it's right, it's just, yo, it's in human nature that, you know, the parents just have to be more particular with who they let around their kids, and they need to know, yeah, that's the best thing we can do, and just pray. Those of us who are religious and believe, you know, and you teach your kids what's right and what's wrong, and if anyone even says anything that you think is inappropriate or makes you feel funny, make sure you come tell me or tell mom. You know that's all we can really do is just communicate with the kids and let them know they don't have to be afraid to tell us anything. You know,
Yeah, but not all kids, even though if you tell them that, are going to I don't believe all of them are going to be that open and feel that comfortable to,
right? Because a
you
lot of
know,
parents don't have a good relationship with their kids. You
yeah,
know,
that's sad.
all parents that are able that are in their kids' life should work on getting some type of rapport with their child. See, most parents try to rule with an iron fist, and that's not going to work with these kids these days because you can't spank your kids anymore. You can't do anything like that, you know, and you can't do it and stay free. You know what I mean? So you got to try a different approach, and the physical approach hasn't worked anyway because just think about it though.
You're
If
right.
whooping ass and calling names really worked, then why did our ancestors flee and break out of slavery eventually after being whipped for many years? That doesn't work eventually. Eventually, as humans, we're gonna want to be free. You know, we're not gonna continue to take the abuse. So
So are you saying this upcoming generation is basically doomed, or they just are in an uphill battle?
it's definitely a uphill battle. Uh, I don't know if it's doomed. I'd say it's an uphill battle, but eventually they'll level off. That's what I believe because you got to realize the ones that do make it, they'll probably begin to mature. They're gonna have to bump their head a lot of times, but they'll eventually mature and realize that yo, what am I doing? What are we doing? It's things will get better eventually. Things will get better eventually. I believe so.
I mean, we have to believe that, but we also have to be realistic too and realize what's going on in front of our very eyes, day in and day out.
Right. Look, the uh the conflict between Russia and Iran is it? Who is Russia having a conflict with till this day? It's right the what's the country called right next to Russia?
I don't know,
The
to
war
be
that's
honest.
going on.
Are you talking about?
That war's not over. It's going on right now. They just don't talk about it anymore. It
You're
was on
talking.
the news like crazy at first until they started bringing all the migrants over here and whatnot.
Oh God, it was right on the tip of my tongue. Um, oh my gosh. Now I'm gonna be up all night until I
It's
think of it.
Russia and I not Iran.
Mm-mm.
Who-
Ukraine,
Ukraine and
yes.
Russia. Yeah, they're still at war right now. But the reason I bring that up is everyone was so worried that oh, this is the beginning of WW3.
Three, yeah. I see that on a lot of people's pages. World War Three, World War Three, World War Three.
Right, but somehow it just stayed right over there. I mean, they let their people come over here and take all of the American citizens' benefits and all that. You know, they over here living better than most American citizens. You know, they let their people come over here and they chilling. You know, while they still banging out in their country. Yeah, but I don't mean it's not funny. I don't mean to laugh. It's just like a dull humor to me how these people are so more important than us American citizens. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I do. I'm just absorbing it all.
Yeah, like there's so much to our government. There's so much more important to them than us. Word, we can't even get reparations.
Graham, I don't even know why you brought that up. Do you honestly, in your lifetime, believe that's going to happen? I mean, you can talk it and put the numbers together. You can get the language that they were speaking about together, but do you honestly think that's going to happen?
Oh no, but they could at least let blacks who can trace their ancestors back to slavery, they could at least let us live tax free for about maybe 25 years.
Graham,
That would be cool.
now I know you're sipping on something now to say that.
No, I'm serious. Like that'd be the same thing as giving it, not the same, but that'll be like reparations. Listen, if they'll give you a card, listen, your people were slaves who helped build this country. All right, we're gonna let your family for the next 25 years live tax immune. That'll be good enough for reparations, you know,
Well,
because
you
then at least you could save something.
draft that up and send it to the White House and see how far it'll
I
get.
don't get involved in politics. I'm not. I don't.
Exactly.
That's
Exactly.
too good. That's too much of a good idea. They'll be knocking on my door or something like, "Oh, you're anti-American," and I'm cool. But that would be nice if they would at least do that. You know. Meanwhile, the other guys, you know, whose people they say, got put in those things, they get everything. They run the whole. They live like kings and queens out here. You know, but what happened to us, which lasted even longer, don't even matter. It's crazy.
It's what did what did Don King always used to say? Only in America. Only in America. Is he still living?
Yeah, yeah. He's still in the fight game too. He's still promoting.
I would love to interview him.
Tell ask Judge Joe Brown to hook it up.
I would love to interview him.
He could probably get make that happen for you. Ask him. I mean, Don is what, like 90 years old now? 91?
Oh, he's that old? I didn't know that.
How old is he? Let me see. He's about 90, 91.
Are you sure?
He's up there.
He can't be that old, can he? No. Wait a minute. Now you've got me curious.
He's 92 years old.
Wow.
Oh, wow. He's born on the same day as my
How old is Mike
pop.
Tyson then?
He was born the same day as my pop. Oh,
I didn't know that. Well, that scratch that. You said he's still promoting?
yeah. He still fight for me.
Let me see how old Mike Tyson is. Mike Tyson.
58. Mike Tyson's 58. George Foreman is 75.
So 58. And you said that Don King is in his 90s?
He's 92.
I did not know that was that much of an age gap between the two of them. Wow.
Yeah, Don King was born August 20th, 1931.
What about Rock Newman?
Who?
Rock Newman.
Rock Newman.
Now he's another promoter. That would be someone I would like to interview too. And he's actually on YouTube.
Rock Newman is 42.
He's from my area.
Hold on.
I'm gonna have to
Oh, no,
look
no,
into
he's not
that.
42. No, wrong guy.
He was born in 52, so I'm gonna have to look into that.
Yeah, he's from Maryland, right?
Yeah. That's northern Prince George's County. So yeah, he does a lot of good shows. As a matter of fact, my cousin is crazy about him. But yeah, that's interesting. I did not know that though. Don King is in his 90s. Wow. That's
Yeah.
amazing. That's amazing.
How many more years do you think he got left?
I mean, if he's still pretty much healthy and is taking care of himself, who knows? I mean, older people are living a lot longer. I mean, look at, I think he's in your state. Um, good old Reverend Al. He's got to be in his 80s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but when you're that old, you can't be eating steak no more. You should be eating a whole vegan diet
Who, Reverend
when you
Al?
start to get up there.
Who, Reverend Al? I know he lost a lot of weight. He,
Al Sharpton.
I'm sorry.
You said Al Sharpton?
Yes, he
Yeah.
lost a lot
That's
of
my
weight,
boy
and
Truckhead.
he's kept. What you say,
That's my boy Truckhead.
man?
You know, it's nah, no just shout out to Al, but he got that bobblehead like his body is too little for his head now.
He's maintained it, but that is funny. That little teeny body and that head and
Yeah.
that hair slicked back, but he's still going strong. He is still going strong. So I'm curious to know what he's going to say about this Trump incident. But I'm not even going to get into it now because we're at the 3 hour mark and I'm getting ready to lay it down. But it was so good as usual talking to you and yeah, going over
Thanks for having me on.
these cults and people who I think, in my opinion, and again, it's just my opinion, have a need to feel part of a group. And then those people that are actually quote unquote leaders, how I think they siphon their power from the weakness of some of these people. That's the best way and the most respectful way I can put it. And again, it's just my opinion, but that's what I see in a lot of spaces that I go.
Right.
And honestly, if you pay attention to that documentary, which is really good, if you look at it in its entirety, and you could hear and see his changes, how people, and this is how dangerous power can be to some people, how he honestly thought he was it. He was it. And keep in mind, he was able to convince 900 people to go with
Yeah.
him. I mean, what type of person is able to
That,
do that?
so, yeah, it's some weak-minded people out there who are easily lured into deception.
But you know what they say about history and, well, I'm not even going to go there, but you know what they say about that. You just have to pay attention. And again, there's nothing wrong with admiring people, but we're all individuals. We were given minds and brains to think. And you're right, not everyone can be a leader, but that doesn't mean you have to be sheep either.
Right.
Sometimes you can listen to people, but I always believe it's best to fact check. And that goes for me too. You know, fact check
Hmm.
what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's another major problem. A lot of people never fact check. They just believe whatever the popular opinion is. That's what they believe. They don't even do any research on their own. You know.
None. And you're right. And then the time you find out about these people, then when you hear all of these dark secrets and these crazy, weird things, you're looking like, I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Hmm.
You wouldn't know because you're accustomed to hearing all the good, all of the glitz and the glam, all of the darkness, all of the weird things have been hidden, but now that's not the case. It seems like every day a new secret is coming out about people that we admire or some admire, and it's scary. I never want to be, um, and I won't be, but famous or wealthy. I want to be comfortable where I can pay what I need to pay. I don't want to live my life with my head on a swivel or somebody in my face with a camera all the time or digging into my past. I mean, people do that to people online anyway, trying to find out things. But I'm talking about these celebrities. I mean, it's like their lives aren't theirs anymore. It's crazy. I wouldn't want that. Some people want it, but for me, I don't. I don't. It's too
Right.
much. It
I
is too
mean,
much.
when you decide to be a celebrity, you got to trade your privacy for that celebrity status. You know, you can't do things everybody else does anymore.
No. And you've got to be prepared for that. I think some maybe, but then I don't think others are, and that's how I think a lot of people get caught up. It's just sad.
Hmm.
It's sad. It seems like everything is at your fingertips, but then after a while, once you really get in, and like I said, all of these secrets are revealed, it may not be as great as people thought in the very beginning. Maybe for some, but you see what's going on, you hear what's going on. A lot of these people, it's just, I wouldn't want that type of life, but that's just me. That's just me.
And
But
you got to be happy with what we have and
yes,
be grateful because it could always be worse.
you have never lied. It could always be worse, and it could change with a blink of an eye. So be grateful and thankful of everything. I mean, things that people take for granted, the smallest things. Trust me, don't take anything for granted because it could change so quickly.
Well, thanks for having me on, though. Shout out to the
Absolutely.
chat. Salute to everyone, whether you're watching this live or you're going to watch it later. Make sure you hit that like button, share this live. If you're not subscribed, subscribe to the channel.
Drop
And,
your link Fran.
uh, okay.
If unless you're in the dark.
Nah, I can grab it.
Okay.
I just hit another parlay, so
You
I
just
was
did what?
just, yeah, I hit a UFC parlay, just, 5 I was just editing the, video I'm gonna upload in a minute on my Instagram, uh, of the win. But 1 second. I wonder how long it's gonna. I wonder if it's gonna take a few hours. How long does it usually take to upload once you've been live this long?
Oh, I don't know. How long is your video?
I mean, I shared it to my channel, so I'm looking at your live on my channel right now. Let's see. Let me go to YouTube. Let me go to YouTube. All right. Subscribe to Grand Fishburne TV, especially if you're into sports betting. I usually give my free picks daily. Try to get you a bag. It's my way of trying to put a couple dollars in your pocket. And if you win off me, do the right thing. Cash at me 10%, whatever it is. If it's $20, send me $2. That's cool. You know what I mean? Doe Eyes, I don't ask for much. You know what I asked for, though? I asked people to just show courtesy, like, because I don't have to do it. You understand?
Absolutely.
Like, I don't win every single bet, but when I do win, if you win, just show that you appreciate me giving you my picks because I'm using my brain. I'm not guessing. I'm using my brain to come up with these picks. This is not guessing. We're not playing a
So
guessing game.
you have an actual formula, huh?
Exactly. This is a skill.
Oh, okay. You
Yeah,
got skills.
this ain't no I like that team, so that's why I want to pick them.
Or like Dwayne and what's happening, like the color of the helmets.
Right.
That's how he would pick the teams.
Yeah, I remember that.
That
That's
was so
funny.
funny. To me, it was
Uh-huh.
funny.
And Rollo from Sanford and Son was his brother in law. Yeah, I saw that episode.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for dropping that, Graham.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you have a. Oh, I can't say good night because it's morning now, at least here. But I'll be seeing you around on these streets. But just keep your cool and know that people can be fickle. And as you said, if you give enough chances and they still continue to do that, then just walk away from it. Don't compromise who you are because someone else wants to act out. It's not really worth it, at least in my opinion. I mean, you're gonna do
Yep.
what you
I
want to
make my
do.
adjustments. That's all. It
Hey
ain't
there,
that hard.
Angie.
Make my adjustments.
Yeah, I
If
mean,
I could cut you in or cut you out. If I cut you out my life, it's for a reason. You know, if you've
oh,
been blessed
sorry.
to have a chance to be a part of my life, take it as that, a blessing. Because you'll never meet another Grand Fishburne ever. You
You're
know,
right about that. You're a special type of individual. Angie, sorry about that. Nightbot is being ornery. I don't know why. They said you're Hispanic. Oh, because of the hearts. I'm gonna have to have a chat with Nightbot sooner or later. I just put it in and haven't really had a chance to try to program it. I'm not a techie person, so I'll have to read up on that. But anyway, yeah,
well,
you'll
have
be
a
fine.
blessed Sunday.
I'm sorry.
Have a blessed Sunday.
You too,
You
Graham.
know,
You too.
and
And I'm gonna work on a couple of things and see what I can do. And if you come around, you are more than welcome because you have me in stitches sometimes. I'm like that daggone Graham is a mess. But yes,
I'm gonna pop up more often. Pop up more often. It's just that a lot of people go live at the same
I
time, and
know.
certain
I
times I
know.
just go with what I seem like I can add. If I seem like I can add something to help the show at the time, but I'm gonna pop up more often because, like I said, I already cut one platform out of my rotation, so you know,
Okay.
pop up more.
No worries. Always good to see you. So you
But
have a
as you
good
can
night.
see, I'm still subscribed to you anyway, so I
Well,
never,
I'm glad of that.
I never unsubscribe.
Well, that's a good thing. That's always a
Yeah.
good thing. But you enjoy your night as well as everyone else that came in. Hopefully, you all will have opportunity to check out the replay. And again, thank you to Graham
Hold on a
Fishburne.
second. I'm out of here. I want to let you do this by yourself, okay?
Uh-oh.
Peace.
I knew it was coming. And please make sure that you go check out Graham Fishburne. His link is in the chat. You all enjoy the rest of your night. That's for those that it's still nighttime. And for those that's mourning, enjoy the remainder of your morning and day. Until next time, you all be safe, be well, and be healthier. Bye-bye for now.